They just set up a link between two FFLs. This FFL has this firearm. Anybody can go on and buy it, and then you're going to ship it to the nearest FFL there. So I could just list it for what I bought it for. I could do it as an auction, and then when that person buys it, I'm just going to call them and ask them for their nearest FFL, and it ships out to them.
Now the accessories, you're going to acquire them and then transfer them to a
Accessories,
store?
accessories, there's technically no need to actually have a license other than the fact that I am going to be able to get them wholesale. Much cheaper. Like you don't like you could, I could start my own business and not have an FFL and still go out and buy a Leopold scope. But with the FFL, you usually get a better deal. But then I could sell those on eBay. You could sell them on the website. Like I said, I'm a member at multiple ranges. I can sell them down there. I'm going to start competition shooting for like long range. But yeah, there's optics and different types of accessories is going to be the easiest thing and what I'm actually going to focus on just because of the markup on those are insane. Like a Leopold scope is marked up almost 100%.
Do you expect to have an employees or?
Nope. Me, myself, and I.
I have.
Thank you.
I have one. If say one of your customers, longstanding customers, says, "I want to surrender a gun to you. I have no need for it. Maybe that person passes away and the spouse says, I got these guns. Do you take guns on that type of?
As long as it falls under my license, which most will, like I told you, there are some that don't, but yeah, I could absolutely do that. In fact, one of the reasons that really pushed me to start to get my FFL is my grandfather's got Parkinson's. He's got a lot of firearms, and I have my concealed carry. I'm one of the few males in my family that do have it, but I can't actually get his pistol right now because he needs to go and sign off on it. But we can't bring him out because his dementia is so bad. So, and no FFL, they live in the Northern Adirondacks in the middle of nowhere. No FFL is going to go and actually watch him force it and sign it. So that's kind of one of the things that I, with that license, could go and help him sign it and then take possession of that firearm. But now I essentially just have to wait till he passes for the county sheriff to take it. So yes, to answer your question, someone could surrender their firearm to me. What I would do then is probably just bring it to the nearest gun shop and trade it in. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't have any other questions. Does anybody else? So we'd like to put you on our next meetings in 2 weeks on the 18th. And we will have a determination on the definition or whether you actually qualify for this type of special use permit.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Second on our agenda is Matapato.
Evening. Just give you an update on the site plan and the minor subdivision for the property at 291 Oakwood Avenue. The bus company has basically said that they feel there's too much of opposition to using that site for a bus storage facility. So they've kind of went looking elsewhere. And from what I understand, I haven't talked to them in 2 weeks, but I think they found another site someplace else. So as far as that site plan for the bus parking, we're going to probably withdraw that aspect of the proposal. But I would still like to continue through with the minor subdivision. That would be the car wash on the one lot and the retail building on the other lot, so that's somewhere's down the road that vacant parcel could be sold to another retail use and go through the site plan procedure with that particular site. We've been looking for different people, but there seems to be not too many people doing anything these days. We've contacted probably 10 car wash people, and none of them are really interested, or they're all kind of just holding on to what they got now and not expanding. We've talked to several other retail uses, from fast foods to Starbucks to other people that we feel would be a good use for that particular site. And no one seems to be interested at this point in time. And so I guess at this point, I would like to just maybe continue through with the minor subdivision and get that portion taken care of, so that if something does come along in the future, I really don't have to go through the subdivision portion of it again. And maybe it might even be more advantageous for someone that might want to buy that particular lot versus going in on a lease portion with the remaining lands. So,
So officially you're withdrawing the site plan.
yes, I would say that
Okay.
would be the deal. And
Moving forward, Andy, on the minor subdivision, where would we stand right now with that? We've gotten the,
Right, so procedurally, the minor subdivision application has been submitted. It was part of the public hearing, so the public hearing was noticed and has been held. It was sent to the city of Troy, the public hearing notice, because we're within 500 feet of the municipal boundary. In Rensselaer County, there's no review and recommendation on subdivisions, even though it's adjacent to the county highway. So procedurally, it's in front of you for consideration. I would just defer to Wayne to make sure that all the required information on the minor subdivision complies with the town's regulations.
I guess my question would be, should we show an easement for the common driveway then? Because now the driveway is all on the one
Yeah.
lot. So they'd have to provide an access easement to that other lot?
Right, generally what happens when there's that shared driveway to commercial is there's a requirement that cross easements be provided
Right.
between the lots for access, stormwater, utilities. It'd probably be a very good idea to have a plat note to that effect
Yep,
on the
we could
plat.
do that.
Yeah.
We did one, a similar thing just down the road where the Dunkin' Donuts is, in the vacant lot to the south. There was going to be a medical building that never got off the ground. But we have a common driveway easement that I can modify and get it to you and Wayne and what have you.
okay. Shall we go to Wayne? Would you want that, to review that? Or Andy, you would be
Well,
reviewing
yeah.
that? would
We
you?
Yeah,
will
I
both,
get it.
we'll both review that.
Yeah, I give it to everybody.
Yep.
Okay. Is this something you would be able to do in 2 weeks, or do you
Yeah.
want to?
Yep.
If there's no rush on it, that,
Yeah.
we can do whatever you want.
Yep.
Maybe a clean plat that takes the parking
Bus, yep.
spaces off and all that.
Go back to the car wash.
Right, this
Site
would be, Tom, this would simply be the subdivision plat, so you're only
Yes.
going to show the lots,
Right.
You don't-
right? With
Yeah,
the
you
plat
don't need to
notes.
show the buildings that aren't
Yep.
there.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Do you want us to put you on our next agenda, or do you
Yeah,
want a little
that
bit
would
more
be-
time for this?
No, hopefully them surveyors are getting a little bit less busy, but it's,
All right, then we'll adjourn you to our next meeting on the 18th.
Yep.
Okay.
Should we have a revised seeker that only speaks to this minor subdivision?
It would be my opinion that it does cover the minor subdivision. We'll note for the record that the site plan was withdrawn. Is the remainder of the information, Wayne, in the EAF accurate just for the
I think he
subdivision?
should resubmit the EAF because of the description of the application.
That's a fair point. So if the EAF can be revised,
Yep, no problem.
limited just to the subdivision.
right. Any other questions? I think we're all set then.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, third on our agenda is the Leon site plan amendment. Have you had, Wayne, have you had time to review the stormwater amendment?
We did,
Okay,
and we provided comments to the applicant. And he provided a response to our comments.
and the response was fine, or do you have other questions on that? How many times does this go back and forth? I said, how many times do you think this goes back and forth? I'm going to comment on your
I did review
comments.
his responses to the comments, and I find them to be acceptable.
Okay,
I have not taken a full look at the revised plan
okay,
as a result of his responses, but if he implemented the corrections to the plans based on his responses to my comments, I'd be okay with it.
And we have, yeah, just to go over real quick, some things you can't really see, just labels on slopes for pipes. There were some questions on that, that has been revised. Access for maintenance along the bottom retention area has been included as well. So like Wayne said, he did provide a letter on Monday. We were able to get him stuff yesterday and this morning, addressing those comments. We did also, the day after we previously met, we did get a letter from DOT, which was distributed. Hopefully you also got a copy. I know we gave
Yes.
one to Wendy at the town, Wayne. Basically that they're concur with the elimination of the cross connectivity through there. Also that we, since that is the case, we did also request the 50-foot easement with be reduced to 30 since the road is getting reduced. And also, there was 2 stormwater basins behind KFC here. They have been eliminated, pushing the clearing limits back up closer to the development away from Hillcrest and decreasing the basin in the back, so everything will go to the rear of the property.
Just orient me for a minute. Where's Hoosick Street?
Yep, you're right here.
Okay.
and just as a note, this is I assume the DOT letter is the October 21st letter from a guy Tedesco.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, we did receive that. I
The
think
only-
that was one of the, I think, points that we tried to make at our last meeting then.
You just wanted
We wanted
to
something
make
that-
sure that DOT was on board with.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Because we did have that verbal conversation, and we did mention that, you know, it's all fine and dandy, but it is nice to have something in writing for the record. And that was the correspondence that we received from DOT.
Okay.
So tonight, you know, we're looking for amendment approval or condition of approval if Wayne has any additional comments. But we feel like we did address his concerns in the response letter and also in the plans.
All right.
Well, I've got 2 thoughts. One, I would ask if Wayne has had a chance to just confirm the revised stormwater plan with Bill Bradley, who's the town stormwater officer.
Yeah. Bill Bradley did do a review, and he did send me his comments, and I incorporated them into my comments to MJ.
And has Bill had a chance to review the replies?
No, not that I know of.
And then secondly, I did forward your request to reduce the width of the easement from 50 to 30 feet to get back to the stormwater facilities to Bill Bradley, and I have not received a response back. So I don't want any issues on this, quite frankly, for you coming up after. I think it's prudent to make sure Bill signs off on the response to comments and signs off on the reduction of the easement to 30 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a condition or as in a postponement for another 2 weeks?
Correct. As making sure that's there, and then it's not a conditional approval to the amendment to the site plan.
Yep.
The board can just move forward and approve it.
Okay.
All right.
Can you revise the clearing limits on the plans as well? Because there is one plan that shows a pretty wide swath of removal of vegetation.
I'll double check. I thought we did revise that based on the latest plan, but it won't hurt to double check it.
Yeah, if you look at the build plan, you change the clearing limits on that, but there's another plan that's the removals plan that still, I
Sure.
think, needs to be revised to show the actual proposed clearing limits as revised. Because we want to limit the amount of vegetation that's removed. Now's the time to do it before they go hog wild with the
Right, and that's,
Clearing.
and that's why I kind of brought up I know they're really anxious to get a clearing crew out there. And, KFC site is number one on their list. It's KFC and then it's over here. I don't want them to clear too much back and through here based on the approved plan. And then we come back and go, wait, they just approved the amended plan, now we clear too much.
Right.
So, they have somebody lined up and, obviously they're hoping to get out there sooner than later.
Well, let's just make sure that the clearing limits as shown in the plans that you give to the contractor reflect
Yeah.
the revised plan.
Might want to check what they've already cleared out there. 'Cause
Well, I know they haven't done anything in here because I told them that I was going to be in front
they were up on
the
top
board.
of that rock behind Planet Fitness with the excavators, but I don't know.
That was to get a cross path so you didn't have to get out into traffic.
Yeah,
That's all right, but I don't know if that was part of the clearing.
no, I know.
Whatever was there
I
isn't
know
there
they haven't done
anymore.
Any of this yet due to
Right.
this, because we told them if you clear it, you're defeating one of the reasons why we're moving this, not only because of the rock, but also to reduce the clearing limits adjacent to the hillcrest.
I'm just saying, you gotta check what they've done before you.
And also in the back around the expanded pond.
Mhm.
Just just check that too to make sure they're not, just because you have the property doesn't mean you need to clear all the way to the property.
Correct. No, we're trying to keep the clearing limits just with.
Yeah, there is one plan shows it cleared right to the property line.
Okay.
Do we have any recourse for too much clearing? Can we have them put trees back?
Well, it's enforcement of the plan, so it's our
Right.
ability to enforce what's on the plan.
Right, and Mr. Lippin's correct. There is a site plan which that's been approved, that shows additional grading than is on the amended plan. Right now, that is the approved plan. So if clearing were to happen, it'd be in compliance with the currently approved plan. Understood. So this proposal is to reduce that clearing area. I think Wayne's point is well taken, which is your clearing contractor should probably, even though the board hasn't acted on it, be looking at the revised clearing plan. Would you concur, Wayne?
Yes.
Okay.
We just won't give any authorization at this time. We'll.
My,
this is
my
what
my
we're
concern is I
looking
want to
at.
make sure the town water department's had a chance to sign off on this
Mhm.
before the board acts.
All
Are
right.
you gonna send it to Mr. Bradley, or do you want me to send him everything? As far as the
However, it makes no difference.
comment letter, your responses in the revised plan?
I can send him
Probably
the same
easier-
link that I sent.
Yeah, send him
Unless
the
you want to be
same,
the main contact, or it doesn't make a difference.
no, send him the same thing that you sent me,
Okay.
because it's all a link or something that sends me to somewhere that I don't know or how I get there, but I just click the button.
Nope, I can do that.
Okay.
I'll send it over to him tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we will see you on the 18th.
Yes, we will. I may not be here, but somebody will. That's a very popular meeting night for some reason.
Okay. All right, number 4 on our agenda is the Plum waiver of subdivision. Is there anybody here representing them? Okay, let's take a look at this. Do we have anything to add on to this? Okay, this is actually submitted as an executor. Am I correct on that, Andy? This Alice Plum is a,
The new business, right?
oh,
Since we have this gal in here as well.
okay. Let's do that then. We're going to table the Plum waiver of subdivision and move on to the Singleton waiver of subdivision. How's that? Come on up, Bill. Yeah,
Thank you. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm William Aram, and I live at 11 Checkerberry Lane. And I'm sort of the unofficial co-applicant on this subdivision waiver from the standpoint that Mr. Singleton and I are swapping different strips of land just to basically, I guess, adjust our boundary lines. So,
okay. So this involves basically two little parcels, two little strips, right?
Yes.
The one that's right on Checkerberry Lane,
mhm.
and then there's, in the back of your property, there's another strip. And these are strictly lot line adjustments. These lots are obviously not buildable lots. They're just lot line adjustments. Does anybody have any questions on this?
I guess my only question is why we're leaving that little strip of land between McGardles and you.
Why are we leaving that?
Yeah,
The Singletons, Colhamer Avenue, which is on the top there, that doesn't have a water line. And so when they purchased the property, the Singletons did, they had this whole area down here that borders me, and they ran their water line straight through to Checkerberry where we do have water. So that's why, and so anyway, result is he wants to leave a little space there, little area of land, so that his water line is running through there, and he still has access to that and the ability to access the water, Checkerberry water line.
how wide is that little
12 feet.
12 feet?
Yes. And we're also, as a part of that, there's going to be an easement in there that's going to, in the deeds here, which is going to allow him access, if he has to go on my property in order to address any problem with the water line, he can do it.
So in effect, that 12-foot strip is a utility easement. But
Yeah. Yes.
It's not an easement per se in that. It's still owned by Mr.
Yeah, he's going to own that strip, but if he
Right.
has to veer
Well, if
over,
he's not
over
really
that
wide enough to
line,
Do a lot,
it's okay.
but that's, no, it makes sense.
Mhm.
I don't know if Andy agrees, Andy's probably fine with it, right?
Mhm.
No, that makes sense, yeah.
So all this time, basically,
You don't have a driveway.
your
That's right.
your driveway was not on your property.
That's right. It's not, this was known to us for a long, long time. I mean, it was about the time that I purchased the property, and I had a survey done. I did, all of a sudden I did, when they put in the pins, where's my driveway's off the land. Well, it was much later, a few years later, is when Michael and Michelle Singleton purchased their property on which my driveway was. And so I talked to him about it, and he had no problem. He wasn't worried about it. And I even, with his written permission, I paved my driveway. And so that's the way it's been ever since. He's been a great neighbor. And so he came to me with this proposal last spring, and I said, sure, sounds good to me. So that's what happened.
All right. Does anyone on the board have any other questions? Wayne, do you have any questions?
Well, I just wonder why you just didn't run the new lot line all the way to the other property line and then just do an easement.
Andy, do you want to weigh in on that one? Which is easier? This is easier, isn't
It's the difference between owning the land over which the water line goes as
Well-
opposed to an easement. And you can shape your lot
Yeah,
however you'd like to, as long as it meets the code requirements.
Because he
It was
has
just a-
frontage on the other Cole.
What's that, Linda?
He has frontage on Colehammer, Singleton has frontage on Colehammer, so it's not that he doesn't have road frontage
Put
somewhere.
a Checkerberry address.
He has a Checkerberry.
Who has a
address?
Checkerberry
Well,
address?
He changed his address to 41 Coleham. But his address is Checkerberry, 41 Checkerberry, and when he had a permit for the portico that he put on, and I had a heck of a time finding the place.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was looking for
there's,
41 Coleham, which there isn't. His address is Checkerberry, so he's planning on changing that. The driveway comes from Coleham, it should be Coleham address.
Okay. All right, does anybody have any other questions? I think we're good to go, is right. If there's no other questions, I will entertain a motion seeker determination.
Negative declaration for seeker.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? All those in favor? Any opposed? Now on the waiver of subdivision, do I have a motion to approve that? Is there any conditions that have to be put on there?
Well, belt and suspenders, that obviously the lot line adjustment, these end up with two tax lots. There's not going to be a separate strip of land. They're merged into your single lot and the Singleberry
Yeah.
single lot, correct?
I'm hoping for that.
Well, that's how it should be drawn out, so that you get one tax lot as a result of this. So
Yeah.
just confirm that the deeds will result in two tax lots.
Okay.
You want a copy of the deed to the town?
I think in this case, it's such a minimal lot line adjustment. I'm not sure that's necessary.
All right then. Do I have a second on that approval motion?
I'll make a second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Any opposed? You're all set.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Please. Mr. Aaron, if I can have your map, I need to have it stamped.
Is that?
I need to stamp the maps, and then you'll be able to come and pick them up and bring them down to county. Unless you file, they don't know about it, it doesn't have it. Okay.
Your check.
Thanks, Len.
So I can
Okay.
catch up with you on that.
Yeah,
Chuck.
we'll stamp them tonight and get them signed tonight, and we'll be ready for you tomorrow.
Okay, all right, thank you again.
Oops. Okay, you're welcome. Take care. Do we move forward on the Plum waiver subdivision, or do we reschedule them?
Yes, there is no one here.
Right, the applicant should be present.
Okay. Then we will, let me see. Is that, who was that, the land surveyor on that? Okay. I thought it might have been Brian. Okay, then we will tentatively reschedule them for our next meeting, subject to, your contact with them. Okay. Okay, that concludes our regular agenda. We have 2 items on the agenda for new business. Let's do the waiver of subdivision for, who was that? Todd McClurg? Okay. Can you fill us in on this? Yeah, it
there's
is.
a lot of land swapping going on South Road.
Yeah, what's going on out there?
I don't know what's going on. It's all around me.
I know.
Is there something going on you don't know about, or what?
It keeps moving up the road, it started at the corner.
It's on the other end.
Must be hard to survey up there and then figuring out what they got their lines. Yeah, you're right.
Kind of a little bit confused on what's going on here. What's being divided off? 2 combined there.
Land of Esther Brooks is going to McClure.
There's driveways on all, on Mr. Estimate's plan.
There it is.
So they're conveying it to,
What? Oh, I got it. Before my time.
yeah,
Well, maybe it's,
there's,
as long
there's,
as it's not the shared driveway to Esther Brooks.
Well, you can share it, you just got that another way up. Able to build it.
now does Esterbrook's now still have road frontage, I would assume on South Road, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he
they're
does.
probably gonna still use this driveway here, right?
I think Esterbrook's has got his own driveway. Maybe their own driveway leading up to their house. Yeah.
So this,
Does McClure
this,
have his?
this is just like a turnaround here, or
I
what?
have no idea Yeah, I know there's a road that kind of meanders up next to Frank and can't see where it goes. This is clearly it. But Frank's got his own driveway right in front of the house.
Okay. So they're just making this lot legitimate now with road frontage. All right. Well, I don't have any other questions. Should we just put them on our, we're getting kind of a crowd here on the 18th because we got, in addition to the ones we have postponed tonight, we also have a public hearing for the Zambo for a special use permit. That's a solar panels. And then we have very minor subdivision coming back. They had a public hearing at our last meeting. That's off Garfield Road on Fiddler Lane. Is that the name of that? Where we had all the upheaval at our public hearing. It was a lot of upheaval. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items on this already. Is there any fire drill on this that we can put them to the first meeting in December?
I won't be here.
I know that we have, as of Wednesday, I wasn't in the office today, I was out complaining, so I had seen that, because it didn't come in until today. I understand that we haven't been able to get a letter from Mr. Estabrook for this, letter, consent. So that was going to be one of the holdups. I said we would take a look at it, the working meeting now, but certainly wouldn't be able to move on until we did get that letter of consent.
All right, then why don't we put them on for the first meeting in December, which is, I used to have a calendar here.
Yeah, I can tell you where it is.
December 2nd? Okay, we will schedule them for December 2nd. All right. And now the other one that we have under new business is the addition to an existing cell tower at the church.
Yeah, I found out that the third carrier is going to go on the church, and that kind of dovetails with the American Tower fires that are down Route 7, because we're going to be putting another carrier on that, so you'll be seeing that probably next month.
Where?
The big tower over there by Simply Better Car Sales and James Place behind Anna James. They're going to put a fourth carrier on that. They were only about 3.
Route 7 going out beyond the church is a dead spot in there. I can't call my nephew when he's, tell me he wants to buy oils.
It's not something.
No.
Then you don't have a carrier.
Now, is
They've been
this,
trying.
Dish
It's the
wireless.
third time. That's why they're on it.
who was that gentleman's name that did the cell tower off Crick Road, Peninsula Lane area?
Dave Brennan,
Yeah.
attorney Dave Brennan.
Is he involved with this one? Somebody, I thought
I'm
some,
aware of, he is currently involved in a special use, a use variance in the zoning board for a couple of solar.
He's got the solar projects.
But not
okay.
wireless.
I guess I misunderstood
Thank you.
the phone call today I got. Okay. So what do you want to do with this? Put 'em- This is special permit and site plan approval for a minor personal, is that the brand name, minor? Or is it a smaller? What's a minor personal wireless telecommunications
I
service?
think that's correct.
Is minor the company name?
No, it's how it's
So
categorized in the zoning law. Just let me look for a moment.
Okay,
Because it's attached to an existing structure.
Yeah, it's up on the church. They're gonna have a lower spot. As carriers go, they seem to. As you get lower, one thing I just.
I assume that they're going to do all the necessary things to conceal this like the other ones are.
Yeah, they do a heck of a job, paint it the same color brick when it transfers up to the white molding, they transfer the paint on the antenna to white. In
Really?
that area, it's really good.
I'd have to look a lot closer at that.
Yeah.
I mean, just, casually going by, I've never noticed anything unusual about the church.
Now, when I was up there trying to inspect the antennas, I went back and forth looking for them. I didn't realize they were on the steeple either. I recognized they were on the steeple, and the gentleman was parked behind the church. And we went up there, and really neat. There's a notice written in, an old style cursive of how the scheduled bell ringing should happen for a funeral, for a marriage, for standard mass. It's really interesting.
So this minor.
It
cell
is.
tower
So
will
under,
take
under
care of
the
that.
zoning law, this is considered a minor personal wireless telecommunications service facility. It's where the telecommunications equipment is installed on, in, or to an existing building or other structure, including a steeple.
Okay,
So the application's in the right form.
This is Donald Krieger's.
do we need, Wayne, do you need any additional time for this?
I would just like some time just to go through the plans.
Are you opposed to pushing them out to the 2nd of December?
I am not opposed to that.
Does anybody have any comments on that? I don't know how, everybody's always in a hurry, but we can certainly put these on the meeting for the 2nd. I mean, I just think we got a public hearing at our next meeting. We already have 5 or 6 items on the agenda.
Does this need a public hearing?
Yes.
That would put it out next year.
Yeah, if you review it on December 2nd, determine it's complete, schedule a public hearing, that'd be your first meeting in January.
So am I hearing this that maybe we ought to consider having him on the 18th? Just as a,
I'm suggesting nothing.
Just
Remember-
stating facts.
Yes. That's just the way procedurally it'll work, right?
you guys are no help. No help whatsoever. I mean, if you want, we'll put them on for the 18th. If you think it's, if we're into a public hearing type thing, it might be a good consideration to feed them on here as soon as we can.
I don't think there's going to be a lot to go over. I mean, it's just,
It really is dependent on Wayne to determine whether by the 18th that there's enough.
I can review the plans and determine whether or not the application's complete by 2 weeks.
Okay. Then scratch the 2nd of December. We're going with the 18th of November. And with the idea that we do have to have a public hearing for this, is there anything else that we need a public hearing for? No.
So as of right now, for the meeting on the 18th, I have 8 items. Okay, does that, December, the
Yeah,
public hearing,
yeah.
Barry, minor subdivision.
Yeah,
Brian did indicate he wanted to come back on Calaban subdivision.
I didn't know about that one. Galavan?
Correct,
We wanted to be here for both.
correct, since he was going to be here. And then Froyo, Pato, Leon, Plum, and Tilson Technology. The cell. Hmm?
Mattapato might not object to be going off to the 2nd of December.
Well, if you wanted to. Chuck, you want to get a hold of Tom Early and see if he wants to get rescheduled, if there's a real problem?
My suggestion, if you're going in this direction, simply tell him it's been rescheduled to December 2.
Okay,
Given that the site plan was withdrawn, I didn't get the impression from Tom that
there
It was a
wasn't
matter
any
of
fire.
utmost
Okay, so we're
urgency.
gonna
That was the copy, is that what happened?
What's that?
That was out of the copy, is that what happened?
That's right.
The site plan was withdrawn?
Withdrawn.
Oh,
Yeah.
I will,
He still wants to
I will
move.
tell him he's going on 12/2.
He still wants.
Is it 12-2 or 12-3?
Two.
Okay, I thought Andy said 12-3. Okay. Yes, if you could tell him that, that would help us out a little bit.
12/2.
Okay. Is there any old business?
The road that they're working on now, is that the first road for Hannaford or the back road for Hannaford?
It's the back road. We're gonna use the back road as the construction entrance to the back.
That store's a lot closer to Route 7 than I thought it was.
The parking lot's got to go in front.
Yeah. That thing's, there's a lot of ground left out there. There's room for another something behind the grocery store. Before you hit the road.
Yeah, forget Duncan Lane. Yeah.
And then there's something,
That's what I wanted to do, to establish a perimeter so I get out there and take lane measurements.
they had Ann out there taking topsoil off, I guess. What's that?
It's probably beautiful.
It's,
Did they actually come up with a firm truck route that they're going to use? They're going to go down to 15th Street and over?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah,
Shirley's going to like that, going through her campus.
she's,
Yes, my understanding, they did confirm it's right in, right out onto Hoosick, right?
Yeah.
So they're going down Hoosick with the empty trucks.
All right, then
I
if there's
seen
no
one
old
coming.
business,
up 7, but I don't know where if he was going there or not, but now it's all rain.
okay, I'll make a motion that we adjourn. All those in favor?
Hi.
Thank you.
Chuck, you got the sign-in sheet?
I do, unfortunately, it's way down there by Emil. So I have to go down there.